Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures, where I'll be talking and reviewing action figures from different manufacturers. Today we're going to be having a look at a 2-in-1 review. Well, technically they're both the same figures, but they came out at different periods. So some call this one over here the 2.0, this is the original one. But in reality they're both the same figures. So if we're going to start by the one who has the grey box, so of course this is General Grievous, it's made by Sideshow Collectibles. So the first one went up for pre-order in 2013 and was at a suggested retail price of $249.99. The estimate time of delivery for this figure was for first quarter of 2024. The item number, there was two of them, was 1027, so that's 100027. And there was an extra one for the exclusive. The extra version had an extra head sculpt with a bit of a battle damage version of it. And as I said, the suggested retail price was $249.99. Now the other figure was over here. This is the 2.0, but technically it is exactly the same figure. That one goes with the number 1272. So that's 10000272. The ETA on this figure was for June 2021, and that's when it was planned to be going up for pre-order, and when it came out was in August. So as you can see, there was no way that this figure was a figure that was not planned to be already made. Sideshow would have not been as fast as that to trip from one month to another, get these figures out. So while we give this final spin, so we get to the front of the box. So that's it for the explanation about this figure. Now let's have a closer look at the history of this figure, and also let's have a look at the figure. So before we jump into what we get in the box, I'm going to give the box an open spin. So this is the first version who's spinning around. The reason why I have two, and I can understand that this is going to be a bit of a question if you're reviewing the figure and it's both the same, why did you purchase the new version who came out a few years later? Well, the reason to this is because this figure was in storage and I didn't realize that there's a magnetic attached to the head. And the problem is, in the one I got here, who's the original one, well, the face of General Grievous was not in the package. Sadly, it was many years before I opened it, so it was a bit late to go and complain to Sideshow. And also the magnetic are inverted, so if you're trying to put the face onto this General Grievous, it's going to push it away. It's nothing that cannot be fixed, and I think I will have to go with this. Now, let's talk about the figure itself and what do we know about General Grievous. So, of course, General Grievous was well known because he appeared in the Clone Wars 2003 cartoon. Of course, he only appeared in one movie, who was The Revenge of the Sith, and kind of has a bit of a short lifespan, but he was more funded in the cartoons. So if you want to go and check out the Cartoon Network versions. I'm not a fan of it. I like the second season more than the first one, and I do love the Clone Wars from George Lucas and Dave Filoni. Even afterwards, when it was taken over by Disney, I still love the season 7 of Clone Wars. I think Clone Wars was one of the best ways of making people like the prequels. As a fan growing up with the original trilogy, of course, let's say the episode 1, 2, and 3 were maybe not the best received by my generation of people watching it, but I started to like it when I was starting to watch the Clone Wars cartoons. Now, what I forgot to talk about when I was talking about the newer version who came out, the price went up. Of course, this is kind of crazy when you think about it, because instead of being $249.99, it became $290. Of course, during Black Friday, Sideshow put it at $261, and if you purchase for $300 or $400, you could get 1 or 2 extra free figures, depending how it went. So as you can see, when it over here, we're going to be having a closer look at what we have over here, due to the fact that this box here is separately put. So as you can see, we have the different lightsabers. So for the lighting, I'm going to have a closer look, and we're going to be having a closer look at what we get in this box over here. And like I was saying regarding the figures over here, as you can see, there is no head part over there. So as you can see, it is missing. And you can also see on this side here, we have a little padding. So I guess this would be where you would have the second head of Grievous to put over here. But if you can see, if I try to put it in over here, well, as you can see, it's pushing it away and there's a one to hold in place. So it's, like I said, the magnetics are inverted. If I put it in here, he's going to be stuck in. But the moment I take him out, his head pops out due to the fact that this magnet is not the right one. So what do we get in the box? So I already built up the figure. There's going to be an explanation why I didn't do an unboxing like a lot of channels do. Kind of had a bad surprise with this one. So as you can see, you have the cape. Cape lands in very heavily. You can see the extra lightsabers. Don't move him too much because he might have a tendency of falling over. We have a blaster. This is the one Obi-Wan Kenobi uses to kill him. We have the extra arms over here. As you can see, you have to be really careful. He has a tendency of wanting to jump off. So we have the arm, we have the figure stand. There's a reason why I haven't put the figure on this stand. I think this must be one of the worst things that Sideshow has done, but we're going to be looking at it when I'm going to give you my thoughts about this figure. And also, what do I believe is the value of this figure. Of course, we have the other arms that come to interchange with the lightsabers who go in here. We have the staff from the Magma God, who's very funny that no Hot Toys, no Sideshow decided to do one of these figures, at least because it's a bit of an army builder. And let's be honest, General Grievous, if you have been watching the Clone Wars, does not walk around without having 2 to 4 Magma Guards around him. He has tendency of throwing those guys in to go and have a little fight instead of him, and him coming in afterwards. So of course, like I said, we have the different lightsabers, and here we have each lightsaber who is ignited. There's no battery operated in this figure. In 2013 there was not much they could do, and there's a reason why I'm keeping them separate, and also there's a reason why they're split apart and not put closer together. We're going to be having a closer look at all of this in my thoughts, value of this figure, and my note out of 10 for this figure. So what are my final thoughts, and also, do I think that this item is a collectible figure, and is it worth something? Now, of course, this looks a bit like a bloody mess, and this is exactly the way I felt after I dismantled this figure and tried to do something with it during my first unboxing. There were so many issues that happened with this figure that I don't even know where to start. So this is my 2013 version of the figure. And of course, you can clip the arms over here. So when I pulled the arm off, as you can see, this part came off. This should not be coming off. So that's a big problem. Then afterwards, on one of these arms over here, as you can see here, I managed to put it back, but this opened up and split in half and fell off the arm. So you're like, okay, that's great. That's already a great start. So you're trying to build up something and it's not falling in place. Then afterwards, I had another big issue that everybody knows about, is the spinning arms from Sideshow. So, I mean, if you're trying to put a lightsaber in his hand, I mean, already the weight of it is not already holding by itself. I'll let you imagine what would happen if you had a lightsaber in this arm. So as you can see, a huge disappointment, and I was pretty mad about it, because let's be honest, the figure for $290 is not something that this should happen to. Now I was talking about this stand, how bad it is, because let's be honest, if you lift it up, this doesn't hold in place, but I put my General Grievous over here, who's fully out. Now you could try to put this at this height over here and have him kind of holding in place, but it does not really work. As you can see, he is a bit higher than that. So if you were to go a bit higher, you will nearly be coming out of it, and it has no hold. As you can see, the fact that the stand folds over, if you want to do a Michael Jackson impression when he's doing the Smooth Criminal thing, you can do it. So as you can see, the stand is totally not adapted at all for this figure. And of course you can say, well, John, you can spin it around like you did show in the video, and you could put him up like this, but still, you still have a problem. And as you can see, it is extremely wobbly. So let's take this and garbage and garbage. So as you can see, this is not the review I wanted to hopefully to provide out there. But again, when you see crap, you have to call it out. And this figure is a pile of junk. There's so many problems, so many issues with this figure. It is unbelievable. And I mean, come on. This one here, who's holding up here, is the 2013 version of it. It's not even the one that we made. I mean, you give this for the Magma Guard, it's cool, you want to put this in the hands, and you want to try to make him hold, but these things don't hold in place, because the metal parts over here, as you can see, who are normally where you would attach the lightsabers, would come in like this, so these hold. But there's nothing. But something who's extraordinarily strange is that when I was mucking around with this figure, when I was trying to build it up, as you can see, there's something in here, light, but there's something that is in there, and I found it very funny because it picked it up. The same goes for the pistol here. As you can see, the pistol does have a bit of magnetism in it, who's a good idea, but when you come onto the hand over here, nothing. So, I mean, come on, Sideshow. This is not acceptable. A figure costs $290, even if you had it at $261 in promotion, or even when it came out at $250, this is way too expensive. I mean, it's such a huge disappointment. So, I mean, I don't understand why you were doing this, because it is pretty bad to do it. As you can see, the lightsabers have a tendency of getting together, and this is where we're going to be coming into the vest. If you don't put the sabers separate and you want to pull them a bit closer by like this, they have a tendency of pulling together and sticking together, who does not look that great, because they also have the magnets, of course, if you want to pose them with the swords in it. But as you can see, if you're trying to pose this in here, you have a tendency of them trying to close in together, and this is the reason why I went with more of a separate part. I think they should have provided maybe one who was not magnetized, who was specially done for the vest, one of each to go in there, so you could put one saber, I would say, in the middle to separate the ones who are magnetic. This would have made so much more sense. So, my thoughts, as you can see, well, I'm not going to tell you if this figure is worth something collectible-wise. I can going to tell you my note out of 10. This is 0. I mean, this is not acceptable, and I know that there's some other people out there who made some reviews about it, talked about some of the issues, but this, I mean, come on, Sideshow. Okay, the one I got in 2013, let's admit that somebody forgot to put the head in. I don't have an issue with that. It can happen, mistakes can happen, and you have a pretty good service after sale for that to be able to request them. I didn't see it, my bad. That's why I bought the 2021 version, because I wanted the extra head. But I mean, something falling apart, so expensive, this is not acceptable. I'm sorry to say that. And that's why I'm going to give this figure a 0 out of 10. That's not worth the money. So, I'm really sorry about the bummer of this kind of review. I'm normally like to have more optimistic and more genuinely thought out videos, but this one, when you see crap, you have to call it out. And this is the big problem with this figure. So sadly, yeah, no, this one is bad. So that's going to be it for the review of my General Grievous. I'll be doing another review for some 12-inch figures that I know that work better, and I'm not going to do any unboxing. Well, I could do some unboxing on those because I already know them and already opened them up, and I know that they are way better than that. So please subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of video. Leave a like, share, comment in the section. If you have any suggestions for any other videos that you would like me to make, you can leave them in the comment section. Go and check out my Facebook page and Instagram page. I have some cool pictures, talk about news and other related news to action figures. So you can go and check them out. Then the link is in the description. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!